Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Sebby and I have a record to play for you today. Record Mighty Mouse, the watchdog. So let's get started.
One day, while I was on a picnic with a group of children, one little boy came running up to me crying, Mighty Mouse, come quickly. I just saw a great big dog hopping through the woods like a rabbit. And he had long white ears that stood up straight, just like rabbit ears. Well, I'm sure you must be thinking that that little boy was seeing things, or maybe fell asleep and had a strange dream. Well, I'm here to tell you that he really did see such a dog. And about the long white rabbit ears, well, listen while I tell you the story of Wilbur the watchdog. Wilbur was born in a pet shop owned by a nice old man who loved all kinds of animals. While a baby, Wilbur was a cute little ball of fur. But as time went on, he grew bigger and bigger until he was about the biggest puppy in the whole pet shop. Now, big puppies are a lot harder to sell than little ones. And try as he may, the old pet shop owner just couldn't seem to find a customer who would be willing to make a good home for Wilbur. And of course, the bigger he grew, the more he ate. And the poorer the old pet shop owner became trying to feed him. Wilbur felt very sad about causing the old man so much trouble. There's only one thing to do, he thought. I must go out into the world and find a home for myself. So the very next day, he bid a sad farewell to his pet shop friends and headed for the country. Whenever he saw someone he thought might like a big dog for a pet, he would bound up to him and lick his hand and sit up and roll over and play dead and do every kind of trick to show how smart he was. But somehow, he just couldn't seem to interest a single person. Then just when Wilbur was about ready to give up, he spotted a sign on a fence surrounding a big farm. It said, "Watchdog wanted. Good home for the right kind of dog. Must be big and strong." Wasting no time, he leaped over the fence, ran to the farmhouse, and scratched on the front door. The farmer was delighted when he saw Wilbur. "Why, you'll make a perfect watchdog," he said. Then he led Wilbur to a beautiful big doghouse right on the edge of the vegetable garden. Inside it was a nice soft mattress and a big bowl of food. Why, this was better than anything Wilbur had ever imagined. Wonder what I'll have to do to deserve it all, he thought. Well, he didn't have to wait long for the farmer to tell him. "Rabbits have been raiding my vegetable garden. I'm hiring you to protect it. If you have any trouble, just bark an alarm and I'll come running." That night, Wilbur had a wonderful sleep in his new home. But the next morning, his troubles began. As he poked his head out to greet the morning sun, a little rabbit scurried by with a freshly pulled carrot in his mouth. "Uh-oh," thought Wilbur. "I better stop this right away, or I won't have my job as watchdog very long." So he bounded after the little rabbit. As he chased him through the cabbage patch, Wilbur was startled to see dozens of furry rabbits pop up from behind cabbages, then scurry off in different directions, each one carrying a cabbage leaf in his mouth. "What am I going to do?" thought Wilbur. "There are far too many of them for me to handle. Now I'll surely lose my job and my nice new home and everything." Then he remembered what the farmer had told him about barking if he needed help. So he started to bark as loud as he could. Then suddenly, the rabbit he was chasing tripped on a hidden rock, and Wilbur was upon him. Picking up his little captive, he headed for the farmhouse just as the farmer came running out the front door. Wilbur was shocked to see a gun in the farmer's hand. "Good work," said the farmer to Wilbur. "Now we'll teach those rabbits a lesson they'll never forget. Hold that one at arm's length while I take aim." And he raised the gun and pointed it right at the poor defenseless little creature. Well, Wilbur didn't know what to do. He never thought that being a watchdog would come to this. He looked around and saw dozens of little rabbits peeking out from various places, watching with frightened eyes. and his kind heart told him that he just couldn't let a thing like this happen. With a leap and a growl, he snatched the gun out of the farmer's hand and chased the surprised farmer right to his house. Then he walked sadly out the front gate. I'm sure going to miss that lovely doghouse and all that nice food, he said to himself. But I'd rather be homeless than harm any living creature. You're not going to be homeless, cried a little voice. Wilbur looked up to find himself surrounded by rabbits. It was the rabbit that he had saved who had spoken. You're going to live with us in the woods. We'll build you the biggest and best doghouse in the whole world. And so saying, the little rabbit took a big white paw and tied it around the dog's head, making a knot on the top so that the two ends stood up just like rabbit ears. As long as you're going to live with us, he laughed, you might just as well look like us. And they all hopped happily into the woods. So you see, that little boy I mentioned in the beginning of the story did see a big dog with rabbit ears. And if you should wander near those woods, perhaps you might see him too.
So that was Mighty Mouse, the watchdog. So if you'd like to subscribe, share, and comment, have a groovy day with another video coming out real soon.